That was terrible.
What was that?
One more time.
There
we go.
That first one.
You see me just walking.
It's just like, how come my hands aren't working?
I gotta sell my hands. So obviously the intro to the video will be the failed clap.
Yeah, that all has to stay or none of this makes sense.
None of this makes sense.
When I reference a failed clap at least 4 times.
Yeah. Thank God I wasn't Thanos, huh? Huh?
Everyone loses an arm.
Bucky's like, no change.
No change.
Well, hey everybody. Welcome to another episode of Decadent. I am joined by my father and of course Dylan. Any of you who watch these videos, mostly Chris Sabicki, are sure to recognize him. It's a bit breezy today, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad. We gathered here today on this most solemn of occasions to mourn the loss of Superman.
Oh, it's not that bad.
It's not that good. I wouldn't say it's worth celebrating, so if we're not celebrating it, we're lamenting to lament Superman, James Gunn's attempt at Superman.
There were some good parts. There were some bad parts.
Yeah. Father and I saw it this morning. That was my second time seeing it. We went to Mystic, and honestly, being able to have a beer and sit in a very comfy chair does kind of take a little bit of the sting off. But I already kind of did like my first thoughts of it, a little spoiler-free. There's some things that you just can't really get around without, having to dive into it. So I think rather than giving like a really like pound for pound, like plot point by plot point synopsis, we'll just kind of go into like the things we liked and things we didn't like and keep it much more like how we would normally talk about it if we weren't filming ourselves for minor...
Almost as if we were just discussing it over dinner.
No kidding.
Yeah. So...
All right, I would like to start with something positive.
Okay.
I liked the look of it, right? It did look like how you would expect a modern comic book movie to look. I thought the cast was good. The guy who plays Superman looked a lot like Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Believable physicality.
Yep.
I like, is it Nicholas Hoult?
Nicholas Hoult.
As Lex Luthor. Maybe not all the decisions I would have made for how Luthor acts, but the look and the intensity were definitely there. So I think Holt did a good job with the material he had for that.
Yeah, there's definitely a case of him elevating lackluster
I
writing.
would say for sure. Whereas then I think like the Lois, I think that could have been pretty much anyone, but I didn't hate her. She looked a lot like Lois. That's what I liked about this movie is everyone really looked like who they were supposed to look like.
And they kind of stayed in color palette too.
The guy being Perry White was good. The Jimmy Olsen was good. I like that kid from Santa Clarita Diet. So cast very strong. Borderline A+ cast, to be honest with you.
They did a good job with the casting for sure.
And the robots, of course. I love the Superman robots.
They're all right. We were talking about that on the ride home. Dad was saying that he. Well, you go ahead. Tell him what you were thinking about the robots.
So you have a robot that went through the whole time. They're a sentient robot. They went through that whole thing to say they had no emotions or anything like that. And then the girl robot, he looked at me and giggles. And I'm like, okay. So where were they going with the robots? It was like, okay, tongue-in-cheek robots. Hey, we're sentenced, but we don't have any emotions, but yet they did.
Yeah, it's like the whole sassy robot trope,
Yeah, and then especially like, because at the end, what does one of the robots do? They put on music and the robot starts dancing.
Yeah.
I was like, the robot's having...
Maybe they were getting more emotions with every iteration that was being built.
Could be. Or they were, when they fixed themselves, I guess, because 4 was still 4.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem, too, with this movie, and it's a real big one, especially when you're jumping in at the very beginning of it, is there is no world building.
Nope.
You get weird text crawls that actually, to be honest, create more problems than they help to alleviate. So
I thought it was interesting that the very first thing is like the first metahumans originate on Earth like
3 centuries.
3 centuries ago.
Not millennia, centuries.
And it's like, well, is that going to be a thing? No.
They just wanted to say gods and monsters because that's what James Gunn wants to call this era of DC, gods and monsters. That's why. That's why gods and monsters was in caps and bold.
I think we need to ask a very important question. Is James Gunn a hack? Because I'm beginning to think he is.
I think he has a very specific lane, and Superman's not it. I think if you go back and you watch, like, Slither, for example. Slither's a great, right in his lane, kind of like...
Hey, J. Lee Thompson directed The Guns of Navarone. Okay, I'm just saying, like, you can start very high and then become a hack.
Well, I think he now thinks that people are going to see his movies for his style, which worked in Guardians. Because
did work for Guardians.
We were going to see James Gunn's style, and that until Marvel in every other movie has just tried to I once heard it described like they all want to be the disciples of Joss Whedon style dialogue, you know, and it's actually made me, like, having watched Superman last week and hearing like this talk about like, oh, everybody wants to be Whedon, I went back and I rewatched The Avengers, and it's like, no, these guys are so far removed from the kind of writing that they were doing, like, you know, was it 12 years ago at this point?
Well,
So-
you know what? I always think
Listen to
about
that. Listen to that.
That's interesting.
It's coyotes.
Those are coyotes.
Those are coyotes.
What are they doing?
Stay
Yeah.
tuned. We might have special
Yeah,
guest
yeah.
stars.
We may have some more people try it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
listen to
are.
that. They're in trouble or something.
They're hunting.
They're
But
hunting.
anyway,
They're hunting
I
something.
want to. Something I always think about. Believe it or not, this movie sticks with me all the time. Is multiplicity. And remember, it's like when you make a clone of a clone of a clone, and it starts getting worse.
Yeah, it's
I
exactly
mean,
what
that's
it is.
exactly
Yeah,
what we're
I'm
seeing.
seeing here.
It's so much
It's-
media.
That's even a plot point in the movie, is that the clone of Superman.
Oh God,
is
it
not as good as the
well,
original.
There's the spoiler for. I guess you have to have the
It's all
spoiler at the beginning.
spoilers.
Yeah.
We're doing all spoilers.
And actually, it's kind of obvious. It's like because and that's the other thing too. The reveal's not even that powerful because you've established that Ultraman is just as strong as Superman. So him being a clone of Superman doesn't add any extra oomph to the reveal. You know, it's like either
Right.
he's his own thing who happens to be as strong as Superman, and there's lots of bad guys who are as strong as Superman, or he's a Superman clone.
Well, I think if you looked at it at first, because I was waiting to see what metahuman that was going to be, because they bring up the metahumans at the start, but there's really no other metahumans in the whole movie. When you think
Metamorpho, I think, is like we were talking
yeah,
about.
but
Is the
is
only
he
other metahuman.
was he
Unless they're
from
saying-
Earth or was he from another
Well,
planet?
was he
Because he
even
looks so
born
alien.
a metahuman, or was he? I think he like becomes a metahuman because of an accident, though. He wasn't like born as Metamorpho.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, well,
We don't know because here's another
we-
problem with the movie. We don't
nobody
establish
established
anything
it.
ever.
I was gonna say, in deference to
Ever.
the movie, anything goes.
Yeah,
so.
we don't even know if.
And you don't
Hot
even
Girl
know who
Standing-
all those other people were in the Hollywood square boxes and the other.
Yeah, we
other
don't even
dimension.
know if Hot Girl's Thanagarian or if she's
Yeah.
a metahuman just
Yeah.
with wings.
They just
Because,
they don't know.
like I was saying, so much of this movie bypasses setup,
Right.
which you need setup for certain events. So what are the two big events that this movie is concerned with, right? Let's think about it. Superman going to Borshgravia
Yeah.
and, you know, getting involved in that international thing. We have no setup for it. We have a text crawl.
Nope.
Superman losing his first fight to
Now
the
that
hammer
was
of
interesting.
Boravora.
Yeah.
The Bora Borealis, losing that. And that's also in a text thing. Now, either one of those is fertile ground for storytelling with context. A better premise is pick one of them, right? Either you're concerned with Superman as an agent of America acting unilaterally, in which case then, hey, congratulations, you just repeating Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Yep, because that's what he was. Or you tell the story of his early, because remember now, he's 3 years into this,
Correct.
which is a long time
Time.
for him to be as wishy-washy as he is.
Yeah, we're
start-
well past year one jitters.
Yeah, make it a year one story. We don't care as the audience. Make him build up like these things, showing us his power level, because we're not even sure how powerful this Superman is. Clearly, he doesn't have super hearing, because
Nope.
he
Nope.
doesn't hear like intercom chatter
Nope.
that's like 2 feet away from him. So he doesn't have super hearing. We don't know how fast he can really move, how strong he can really be. He doesn't seem particularly powered up in this movie.
No.
But if you're telling me at the beginning he's the most powerful metahuman and something beats him, there's your movie.
Yeah.
Right? His ascendancy, he gets beaten. He still has to go back to like Mom and Pa Kent for like his, like to get revitalized and get some of that, wholesome American way.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he beats the guy who beats him and he's now okay. It's not a hard plot structure.
It's not hard at all. They did it in Superman 2 and Superman 4.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but you're right. Having him being what was taking place with his emotional thing after being 3 years in, and him being devastated when he hears the whole message when they do that. Year one, the start of year two, you could understand that. He goes,
Right.
"Oh, what am I doing?" But year three, he kind of knows that this is who I want to be. But it took his dad sitting there to talk to him and say, "Hey, you got to figure it out."
son, I just read this book called The Big Book of Cliches, and I got some wisdom for you.
It also involves burritos for some reason. Though I
Small talk
Yeah.
in Smallville.
I think we should stick with the Kryptonian message for a moment
It's
because
played out.
I was gonna say we've seen this trope done in things other
Yeah.
than Superman, and frankly, I don't really appreciate them tarring Jor-El like that because like they did send him to Earth to
do that. Yes,
to be a good
it was-
person.
Well, everything's a little more negative now. You don't have a lot of,
right?
you know, the
That's
whole
Hollywood.
the whole movie was a
know.
little bit negative. Okay, you know, Superman.
Which amazes me because
you
people
start out
complain
at
about the
Su-
Snyder stuff being too negative. This is
Oh,
a very morose
man,
movie.
I thought I didn't care for the opening scene of him being beat. Okay, unless you're going to do something different with it, and we talked about that. You know, right at the beginning, yeah, you can kind of get it, but 3 years in, you're
Right.
a little more of a veteran. You're not such a rookie anymore. But then, even then, the following thing, when he turns himself in, there was no reason for Ultraman to tank him and shove his face into the dirt and all that stuff either. You know what I mean? That
Just-
kind of ticked me off.
Movie
I was
doesn't
like- I
understand
said,
or respect
why-
Superman.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Dog
it was
won't
like,
listen to him.
No, yeah.
No one will listen to him.
Yeah.
He gets bullied and beat up the
Yeah.
whole movie.
You know, it's like they made Superman into like the dads of all the things that are going on now,
yeah.
where they're stupid or they just can't stand up to it. You know,
bumbling,
the Homer Simpson of Superman, right?
The
I mean,
Homer
what?
Simplification of Superman.
yeah.
That's deep,
well,
Dad. I
think
like
about
that.
it. I mean, Superman's always been about the uplift and away you go, and they get a little bit of that, but for me, it really didn't happen until the very end.
Yeah, and Superman's always had a very natural leadership quality to
Yeah.
him. Now that we're really thinking about it, and that's ultimately the problem with this movie. It just doesn't stand up to thinking, you know. So like, this is something I've been saying and been workshopping. It's like, congratulations, DC, you got your Marvel movie, and all that comes with it, you know. And it won't stand up to thinking. It's just a flash in the pan. People will, like, maybe enjoy it at the movie theater, but
Our
then when
theater
you
was
come,
quiet. We had a lot of kids in
We
it
had
too,
a lot
and
of
it was
kids
pretty
in it. It
quiet.
was
No
pretty
cheering
well,
or anything.
we saw it with my kids, and there was a few things that they liked. You know, like Nathan Fillion had some good lines.
Yeah, he did. He had
and
it's
stuff
worthy
like
of
that.
chuckling.
But you know, but like on the whole, they were just like, it's a little boring, and
Yeah.
you know, I just love what my daughter
Oh,
said.
yeah.
Like, well, I can't make a son, makes a son. You know?
Yeah. I think, you know, upon rewatching it, it's like, well, I can make a proximity, like something similar to it, but not strong enough to.
It was definitely
but
him
it was still
thinking about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. And actually, I kind of like that. That was pretty neat.
I
like,
think
yeah.
that whole sequence should just be taken out of it. That whole prison stuff with him, it doesn't do anything except, you know, slide Superman off center stage so that James Gunn can bring in the Justice Gang, who he's clearly more interested in making a movie about those
He
characters.
is much more interested in the Justice Gang.
Like, you know, Mr. Terrific.
But that's, I think,
Mr.
maybe-
Terrific was actually
did like Mr.
He
Terrific.
was actually good.
Yeah.
I like Mr. Terrific.
And
He was
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say what you have with that is that James Gunn knows if he could put a lot of stuff under the Superman tent.
Yeah.
So if you go big with Superman, you know, like, because like he's so at the top, you could do everything under him real easily. But like you couldn't do the Mr. Terrific movie and then put Superman in it. You know, like that wouldn't work.
No.
So and then let's go back to that pocket universe dimension, because
Yep.
again, kind of a neat idea, not great execution. And when James Gunn shows you the monkeys on Twitter, it's not Twitter, but it's Twitter.
It's Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what amazed me too is that the audience watches this and they think, oh, that's everyone else, that's not me. But they're the Twitter monkeys. James Gunn has nothing but contempt for you and views you as the monkey. You know, like if you see some of the freeze frames, you know, like one of them says like Man of Steel is better. It's a little tongue in cheek, but I think James Gunn is carrying around a lot of that pain from when the Twitter mob kind of took him down.
Well, rightfully so. You don't.
Yeah, I think that's really what it's more about. It's like I just
There you go.
I find it so hard to believe that Superman lets social media get to him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's just not something, because you have like a hero like Booster Gold. Like,
Right.
that's the story where he's the one who
Right.
can't turn his social media
Guy
around.
Gardner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
or
had Guy
yeah, or
Gardner
even
right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that wasn't a line from Nathan Fillion about like how good the tweets are about him. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, hashtag Justice Gang's trending. You know?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I
Like-
know. Well,
But
'cause
that's the thing. There's
'cause
not a
it's-
lot of connection to like a lot of the ideas. A lot of them are just kind of floating out there, and you kind of hop from one to the other.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly.
That's how you
disjointed.
hop.
There's
I
a
can
lot.
we're actually on video, so like I gotta.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, when we
Thought
were,
in my head.
because like to just go back there too, to like what Dad was saying at the beginning, is you start with a defeated Superman, and he never really gets his heroic rising action. You know, he doesn't really get to that apex of like, oh wow, look at that. Now that's Superman.
The closest they did is when he stopped the building from crushing the woman in the car.
Yes,
and
I
she
agree with
looks
you.
back, and then he rises out of the smoke. But even then, it's like, okay. I mean,
That's like the third time he's moved something
it's
heavy.
the first time that, well, think about it. It's also the third or fourth time that whatever he was trying to stop crushed him and he came out underneath it.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
not like he, in some
yeah.
movies where he would pick it up and just throw it away. Yeah. No, he still got crushed by it and came out underneath. You know, the
kaiju.
the
fight.
kaiju
That
stepped
whole
on
kaiju
him,
fight was
and then he
just
came
that.
back.
Oh man, there's like another thing too. Like, that's the thing. It's just like a collection of little
Well,
vignettes
even-
with like the
e-
thinnest strings connecting.
Even
them,
as
you
they
know?
were wrapping it up, right? He comes back, he's recovering, right, at his mom and dad's, and then the mom comes out and see what's coming in the box. But before that, Luther said, oh, he'll see this right away, and he starts opening the rift. So in my mind, if you got somebody doing the TV reporting, which is more important? If a war that's taking place someplace else, but right downtown, they've got the rift starting.
Huh. You're right. You would think a giant
I think the
chasm
giant chasm over
opening in
Metropolis would be
on
on the news, not the thing that's happening across
Maybe they
on
were
the other side.
they were watching BBC out in Canada. That's why it was
they
more
were-
the international.
It was on the box, as his mom would
I
say.
know.
It was
Come
on,
see what's on the box.
It was on the LexCorp channel.
You know what's something too? Like this is such a small quibble.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the bumpification of the Kents. Like I thought that was a bit too much in
They are
previous.
successful farmers.
Yeah,
They're
in
not
previous
pumpkins.
interpretations, they've always had that like Steinbeck salt of the earth quality
Yes.
to them, where like
Well, again, they
they're
could've-
hard workers with rough hands, you know,
Right.
and they're not bumpkins.
They're
You know?
treating like the cell phone was just invented, and she's not
Yeah.
had like a smartphone for the past like 20 years at
Years.
this point.
Yeah, exactly. Like Chloe yelling into it, and I'm like both of them, Park Kent, deserve better than they did raise an alien
Yep.
successfully.
Yep.
You know, it's like so it's not quite doing them dirty, I would say, but it's not really what I would expect. Like I would want them to be treated with a smidge more reverence.
Yep.
Well, there is no reverence in this movie
No,
for
there's not.
anything
I don't think
with
there
regard to
is.
Superman. The most reverential character in it is Mr. Terrific, because he takes charge. People get out of his way. He actually he saves Lois.
Yes.
You know, and then
Oh, even the guys respected him when he was in there. Like you would think the guys would have been coming after him when he was looking at it. No,
Nope.
the what were they? Planet Watch guys. They're all in there, you know, watching him.
Did you notice that their armor was Lex's armor from
Yes,
the
it
cartoons? That
was.
was like the green and purple.
Yeah.
That was a nice little touch. Again, visually, but you're right.
Yeah.
Nobody messed with him.
Nope.
And then everybody looked to him for like leadership.
Yeah.
At
Why
that scene,
did they
can you
call
stop
it
it?
Luther Corp too instead of Lex Corp?
Was it or was it Lex? Was it
No, it was
Luther
Luther
Corp.
Corp. It was
Okay.
called Luther Corp.
I don't
Just a smidge jarring because
maybe
I
they're
think
going again without any premise. Remember, because like maybe they were trying to do some of that, like it's the family business, like they tried to do in Smallville.
You know what I think it is I think the problem is with this movie is if you know a little bit about DC, it's pretty frustrating. Like if you know a lot, you could explain away a lot, or if you don't know anything, it's all new to you anyway.
Right.
It's just like when you know enough to be dangerous, where like you're familiar with the character of Green Lantern, but you might not be familiar with the fact that there's a whole Green Lantern Corps and that there's different Green Lanterns, you know, so like that would be confusing. You know, like
One of the ladies at work thought that was that they had race swapped Green Lantern. I'm like, no, Jon Stewart's his own character.
He's a completely different Green Lantern.
Completely
Yeah,
different Green
yeah, yeah.
Lantern.
And frankly, I would have loved to see Stewart.
Well, he would have competed with Mr. Terrific for Stoic.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you had your Mr. Terrific was your Stoic character.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like the reverence, there's no reverence in this movie for anyone except like, you know, a little bit of the Justice Gang, Mr. Terrific. Because, and I was angry about it the first time, and I was angry about it even more the second time. At the end of the movie, when Superman is talking to Lex, he's like, that's where you're wrong, Lex. You see, I am human. You know, I wake up and I'm uncertain and I try and do the best I can every day. Just put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You know, that makes me human and that's my greatest strength. And you'll see one day it's your greatest strength too. And he goes, you don't get it. I got permission to kill you.
Right.
I may not be able to do it today or tomorrow. And then he gets beat up by Crypto and realistically
God.
is probably dead.
Yes.
Crypto is so bad.
Worst.
They only needed Crypto for the beat
Camera.
of, oh, he eats the flying drones, and then he can eat the flying drones. I mean, because that would have been great. That's a great little way to use Crypto, but oh my God, the way he just kept showing up and breaking things, it's like, stop it.
Well, he only did that because that's not how he is in the comics. he did it because James Gunn had a dog, and he was like, my dog was like super unruly, so will Crypto. You know, because this whole movie is essentially just James Gunn inserting himself. You know, it's
Who's his self-insert character?
Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, why do girls think I'm so hot?
What a burden.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, he said that character was based off like Pete Davidson or whatever, the Saturday Night Live guy.
Oh, okay.
Who's like, you know, but it's just like we were saying, there's no reverence. You don't show any respect there to the big final, like, because that's the final confrontation between Superman and Luthor is always going to be a war of philosophy and ideology.
Absolutely.
Because as Luthor even points out,
because Luthor can't fight him.
Yeah,
exactly.
Luthor shows how weak we are. You know, it's like, man, you have these things that are like, that's the kind of Lex Luthor I want, is the one who's like, Superman shows how weak we are. Also, if he does go evil, we're going to need someone to stop him.
Correct.
You know, but instead they made it like an ego trip as well, which is okay. It's, you know, whatever.
Envy.
Yeah,
I'm going to be.
But here's the thing. If he really wants to destroy Superman, and he wants to convince everyone Superman is there to conquer him, because you and I were talking about this. All right, so you put Superman in the... You don't do the big display of putting Superman in the holding cell. You just get him there somehow, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your clone go out and do bad things.
Yeah.
He had a clone of him.
Or realize
Yeah.
you've got a clone that's strong enough to beat Superman. You call the shots now, Lex.
Yeah.
You don't need to be making backroom deals.
No.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to stop Ultraman at that point? No, that's a good point, because, it's like you've already got Superman in the Pocket Universe, just kill him. You know, and then you could tell the government how he tried to escape. Yeah. I mean, who cares at that point?
Oh, by the way, I have a clone of Superman, so I can make you another one. We can do experiments on that guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, it's terrible.
Yeah,
So let me ask you this: at the end, when he gets sucked through the black hole, do you think he's going to come back as Bizarro?
No.
Maybe. I think there's a chance. So
I think Bizarro will be introduced as a failed Superman clone from that
Ultraman process.
You think so?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That
would be more in keeping with Bizarro's typical origins.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
again, everything's out
true.
the window for this. They're doing their
It
own
actually would have
thing.
made more sense if he was Bizarro, because that would explain why you kept him in that black suit so he couldn't get exposure to the sun.
I mean, it would be interesting if they
Now
ripped it off.
you mentioned it.
And if he was he was an ugly Bizarro Superman, that would have been fine. Yeah, you know, I just thought
I really thought he was going to be one of the meta-humans, though. I really did at first.
Yeah.
When they first mentioned it. So then when they did the reveal, though, I said, oh, he's got his DNA. When he went into the structure, I just assumed Lex had the DNA, kind of thing, or whatever, or did something, you know?
Yeah, because he's Lex.
He's Lex.
Yeah, I took a DNA.
Ultraman might be more like a Superboy thing, where it's Lex's DNA and Superman's DNA.
Oh.
Like there were a lot of interesting
Superboy
things.
would've worked,
There
too.
was a lot of interesting things they could have done.
Yep.
You know, and I love the lampshading. Cloning you was easy. I guess it was. Okay. You know?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, too, is 'cause we keep talking about this.
If it is easy, then why aren't there a whole bunch of them?
Yeah, I was like, maybe have two.
Yeah. Why do you even have raptor suits?
Yeah, right.
Or like, how, like...
And there was no indication that Ultraman had the capability of going rogue, if that's what they were worried about. He seemed very compliant.
he was very docile and compliant.
Even when the things were off, he didn't just stand there like, without orders, I'm useless.
He was standing there because he was in the side. What did he do?
Really
that one scene, it cracked me up because he went and got something and gave it to somebody when they were in the meeting. You said he was in the background.
Oh, he turned on the lights.
Yeah,
He turned on the lights.
That's what it
He
was.
turned off the
Yeah,
lights.
And then when he finds Lex, the girlfriend of the server, he's like, "Hey, wait, that doesn't sound good." You know?
He goes, yeah, I know. It's just...
Yeah, I didn't. The Luthor character, the other thing I did not care for that one was when he was in the Pocket universe there, and then he got rid of the storekeeper. I thought that was a little
the food
overmuch.
vendor.
That
Food
was
vendor.
way
That was
too
like
far
way
for Lex.
too
He
far
would not
for Lex.
get-
No, he
I don't
doesn't
think
get
he'd
his
get his hands that dirty.
No, he
He
doesn't.
would have had the other guy, the other president,
Yes.
do the gun thing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, maybe.
It's like, hey,
Exactly.
remember how Superman embarrassed you? Here's your chance to get a little one-up on him. But it's like, and even that guy was more stoic and heroic.
Yes, he was.
Because he's like, don't tell them anything, Superman.
Yeah.
I have no family here.
Yes.
It's like, I believe in you. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, now here's the thing too. Then at the end of the movie,
Where's everybody
there's-
else like him, though, that wouldn't have believed the Lex
Yeah.
tapes?
Yeah,
You know?
Exactly.
And then there's the article at the end where it says
Where
the
he's the
real hero.
yes.
It's like, well, okay, if people are going to believe that, I mean, Lex Luthor's, they got him on murder
They got him on
charges.
murder now.
Mm-hmm.
in front of a whole
Like
bunch
how
of
is he
people.
going to get out of this without just being on the lam perpetually now?
Oh, they're going to put him in a facility,
And then
that
they'll use him.
facility will be called Cadmus.
Cadmus.
It'll be Cadmus.
It can
So
be.
to be honest, if we're
But
going to
they
go
use
down
his
this,
tech again.
if we're going down this like, hey, that's not Superman. Like Lois would be like, oh my God, that is definitely not Superman. What's going on here? You could have her as an investigative journalist slowly try and unravel Cadmus or
Yep.
whatever like the
Yep.
secret agreement Lex and the government have running, right? That
Dude,
could have
Lois
been.
Lane uncovering the secret Superman cloning program would have been a great
Isn't that a
storyline.
great story?
That would have been sweet.
Yeah, that would be.
And then, I mean, eventually when you get Batman in there, like, so she's uncovering Cadmus, and Batman's like, you've taken it as far as you can. I've got it
need
from
to
Well,
here.
here's the other thing too. Like her reporting doesn't actually get that far. Like Jimmy Olsen just happened to be.
Yeah, it's coincidence.
Yeah, he just happened to be sleepy with the woman that Lex is sleepy with. It's like, really? That's
Or
what we're
used
going
to.
with?
Or used to.
Dude, I know, it was so weird. And see, one of the problems with a lot of the Superman movies is like they have so much trouble getting away from, the Richard Donner Superman movie. That's why that ditzy girlfriend was in there, because that's exactly the kind of girl you'd expect, like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. Like they just can't get rid of it.
Yeah, okay.
Like they
the-
can't help themselves. and it's-
Otisburg?
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Otis
like,
was in this movie. He was the big black guy.
Yes, he
It's
was.
like you've got to. It's
Let's
like,
be safe, everybody.
like you've got to do a few of your own things, and then like even like the message in the Fortress of Solitude, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like where you really could have struck out and done something unique, that's when you didn't choose to do it, and then when you did like go
It's
against
just
the grain, it
Omni-Man.
wasn't a good pick. You know what I mean? Like there are different ways I would have.
Plus, we're so tired of this, like, what if Superman were sent to rule? It's like, okay, well, we have the boys. We've seen something along those lines. But even the boys, early boys, was more like about celebrity than it was powers.
Right.
And then, we have Invincible, and everybody, season 1 of Invincible, it just is like the perfect example of like, no, I was actually sent here to find out if I could make like a whole bunch of like half Viltrumites.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Mark, your success proves I can.
Yes.
And so then that's part of Mark's like things like, oh my God, I was bred for war, right? But he's being brought up like because Omni-Man has to pretend to be heroic to hide his true mission of conquest, right? Because if it doesn't work, he's like, well, you don't want
Yep.
to, whatever.
Yeah,
And,
it's literally the first episode,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it is
right.
at
It
the
is.
end of the first episode. Yeah, no, but it's like,
I mean,
and
to
it's
a lesser
more
extent,
nuanced,
you've
too, 'cause
seen
he's
like
upset.
Dragon Ball Z, like
Yes.
Goku and Superman get compared a lot all the time. Sorry to leave you in the dust on this one, Father. But Goku is an alien who gets sent to Earth as a baby, and his objective would have been he would grow up and conquer the Earth.
Right.
But he hits his head and he gets amnesia or whatever, so he doesn't. And he's basically like the Japanese anime Superman at that point. And it's just like, yeah, we've seen this a lot, and that Superman doesn't need it.
no.
Like it doesn't add anything interesting, and now it would be like, what's his purpose for exploring Krypton in the future? Like, what are they gonna do if they find the city of, was it Kandahar?
Oh, the one that Brainiac keeps in the jar?
Yeah, well, like they won't be able to do anything with that now.
Oh.
And then we got to talk about the biggest elephant in the room.
Oh, my God,
Supergirl shows up at the
Supergirl.
end. It's like, wait, so she's another Kryptonian, or in some comics she's from a sister planet, but usually they're related.
Usually they're cousins.
Yeah,
Well,
or
they
at least
actually
they
does say
say-
cousin.
Yeah,
Your
he does say
cousin's here.
cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but sometimes they
robot
just
says it.
say they're cousins
Yeah.
too,
Okay.
just because they're the last Kryptonians. It's like, okay, so
No, he
did
describes the yellow sun.
Yeah.
But
But here's the
Because
thing,
she goes
so
parties
did
on planets with red suns.
So did she, like, how did she survive Krypton? And would she know that, Kal-El was sent there to conquer, and was she supposed to help? I mean, so like,
she would surely have known.
yeah, exactly.
Because
it's just
remember,
such a,
she was supposed to watch over him in his infancy.
well, we don't. That's the thing, though. They throw all
they
this
don't
out the
do
window.
that.
They
in
don't
the,
do
they
that.
don't say it in the movie, but
Yeah,
from the comics point of view, if it turns out she
or
was
the
sent
TV
there,
show, that whichever way
Yeah.
you want to play it is
if
like
she was sent there to watch over
yeah,
him,
and because she was one of the interesting things about Supergirl is she was a fully formed Kryptonian teenager when she gets frozen and then eventually ends up on Earth. So she has memories
Yes.
of
Of
Krypton
being- yeah,
and
yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
So it does make for some interesting plot lines and storylines, especially when she interacts with Superman.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a Lion-O thing where everyone else was, so even though Superman's older than her, she's older than him, and yeah, it's so there was something interesting to do there, but then just to have her in there, it's like, oh no, she's just a party girl. It's like, man, you probably could have used her help. And then you brought up a good point too. It's like, okay, if she's drunk on a planet with a red sun, how is she getting? She's not flying through space.
Yeah, she's not leaving the red
Like
sun.
they've got a secret spaceship they're not telling anyone about.
Yeah, so then what? She takes the spaceship to get off it, and then like what? Because she clearly crashes through
the door.
she crashes through the
side
Fortress
wall.
of Solitude on her own.
Yeah.
But like getting to within where like our sun can affect you in our solar system, that's a long way.
Oh, that cosmic radiation, that's legit.
You are.
And that's the thing. And see, that's ultimately, so like, yeah, it's funny when she shows up at the end, and that's why Crypto's a bad dog. Ha ha ha. But again, the movie can't withstand thinking, because then you start asking all these questions. Well, where was she? What is her role in this now? What are we doing?
Cameo.
Yeah, and I it's my understanding they're doing an independent Supergirl movie.
Oh, that's the next one coming out. I think she's called like, what is it, like Woman of Tomorrow or something?
I know, and so now you almost have to wonder, is like some writer going to be thinking like, how do we explain away the fact that the Kryptonians were conquerors then?
Well, so if she was a teenager then, and it's been, when did she enter Superman's life? How old is she supposed to be now? Are they going to be like putting her in college? Is like she going to like Metropolis University? Because they do show Metropolis University in this movie. They show it getting evacuated at one point.
You would have to imagine because he's only been Superman for 3 years in this movie.
I know.
And she's already Supergirl. The Fortress of Solitude's already there and all that. So like they might have met a year ago,
Maybe she showed up when. Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe they do try to play. She showed up while he was Clark growing up. Again, there's no rules here. They're writing their own script because they can do whatever they want.
No, they didn't think about anything because this is supposed to. There's no real world building. There's not even really character building because they don't have anything to bounce it off of. Like,
and
character
that's the thing.
stuff happens
And if you
off the
were
world.
familiar with these characters, so you're trying to fill in the blanks yourself, they'll be able to pull the rug out from under you and say, well, that's not really what we said.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but if you're not telling me anything and I have to fill in the blanks, I'm going off of what I know from the animated series, the comics, other movies. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff you can pull from when it comes to Superman.
So part of me now wonders, too, because I was thinking about this. His family crest doesn't stand for hope anymore. Not the hope that he thought it does. It stands for the hope that he will turn Earth into New Krypton. It is a conqueror's symbol. Right? So do you think he's going to just try and make it his own, or do you think that's why they went with the Kingdom Come one on this one, so that way he can get the more traditional S than saying it's similar, but it reflects my more earthly side?
The Kingdom Come symbol is so loaded. He had to have picked that for a reason. I mean, if the telos of this DC universe is to get to Kingdom Come, God, I hope not. Because
not these guys.
I hope not these guys.
Not
but let's say
guys.
it is, though. Then this is the only way this works is, yes, he does change the symbol back. And then in Kingdom Come, he becomes too authoritarian, a la Frank Miller more so. And that's why he dons that symbol back when he realizes he does need to put the Earth
be the conqueror
under his heel.
Yeah.
But again, that's more Frank Miller, not Kingdom Come. But that's the only way I could see it working. I mean, look, if James Gunn just picks it because it looks cool, yes, it's a great symbol. It's a great symbol. Yeah. I love the Kingdom Come Superman symbol. So if he only used it because he thought it was cool, more power to him. But it raises a lot of questions for fans who are going in and know what that means,
Yeah. It's just like you're saying, like they didn't think things through. And this is the edited down version.
Oh, can we talk about how larded on this movie feels? How it like,
dude, there was they cut like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, they took 20 minutes out.
And what was the first thing you complained about when we got in the car? You said,
that interview.
Yes.
The interview was too long. That scene was way too long, and it just
And it's circular.
Yeah,
you're doing this. You're saying the same thing.
They were beating a dead horse so long. It was just like
we get it.
Come on, yeah.
Yeah, actually, the solo interactions between Clark and Lois were pretty awkward. I mean,
like
the words punk rock have no place anywhere in a Superman movie. Lois isn't punk rock. Superman's not punk rock. Are you kidding me? Like,
James Gunn is punk rock.
Oh yeah. Hey, there you go, James Gunn. You got to make another fancy soundtrack. I've had that of a punk rocker song stuck in my head for a week. You win. You know?
I think giving Lois a little bit more of a hardened edge to that is to play off of Superman's like, aw shucks, And again, that aw shucks thing, like when he's like, oh, gosh darn it, guys, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yep.
That's fine for year one.
Yep.
You're in year 3. He needs to have more of an edge set.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
I mean,
we need some gravitas to him,
it's like,
at that point.
Because we've seen young Superman plenty in media. You know, like, I think people are more interested in, like, let's see the older Superman now. Let's see, like, the way he was becoming towards the end of the DC universe, animated universe. Let's see what he was becoming like in Kingdom Come. You know, because at the end of the DC, you know, like, Superman's a real badass. Like, he's doing stuff. You know, he's not like,
he's taking on the Flash and those kind of things. When they did that, it was like, let's see who runs fast.
And they were still fun.
Yes.
And you still were like, my God, that's Superman.
Yep.
You know, that's another thing that's frustrating too, because like James Gunn's like, I'm pulling from all these various sources, and it's like, and not one of them you could have found like a scene that's like, wow, that's really Superman. Like, think about this. Like, probably rising out of the ashes of the fallen building is the most Superman-looking scene in the Superman movie.
Yep.
And I was just thinking, do you remember Superman and Lois when he tells his kids that he's Superman and they don't believe him? So he just picks up the truck and he just flies a little off the ground.
Yep.
The way that his kids look at him with awe and reverence, like, our dad is Superman. Like, I got like goosebumps, or hen flesh if you're in the UK. Just thinking about it, because it was such like a Superman heroic moment, and he's literally just telling his kids he's Superman. So if you don't understand the character and you don't understand the small things that make him heroic, you're not going to be able to do this. And in a 2-hour movie, to have like the one sequence, you're right, him rising out of the rubble is probably the most heroic thing Superman gets to do.
Yep.
I did love his speech about being human, but as we discussed, it needed to have Luthor's counter-argument attached to it to really lock it in, and instead they go for the joke.
Yeah, and crank up and you know what? Don't be afraid of the melodrama. It's a superhero movie.
It's a superhero movie.
Yeah, like, we're here for it. Like, if you were to read it, it's like, oh, this is stupid. But you have a guy wearing underwear on the outside of his suit
delivering these lines
to a bald genius. It's like, okay, like, if you don't want to take it seriously, this is actually how you don't take it seriously, is by making this seem really important, and, you know?
But you know what? It's funny, because I'm going to bring it back to Joss Whedon's The Avengers, right? Because there's that, did you send the image this morning? Or, like, because I was, Captain America's talking with Coulson, and he goes, Stars and Stripes, don't you think those things are a little outdated? And Coulson's like, with everything that's about to come to light, and all the things that are about to happen, I feel like people could use something that seems a little outdated, you know? And it's like...
I do like Captain America.
Dude, well, when you watch the Avengers again, right? Talk about an impossible task. Because the Avengers is only like 15 minutes longer than Superman, has way more characters, has way more dialogue. Well, they're probably toe-to-toe for dialogue, but the dialogue used in Avengers is in progression of a character moment, or it's progression in a narrative. It's not just like going back and forth, or just like... Because like, for the life of me, what are half the things that people in this movie talk about? It's like, the scene with Gravitas is Superman saying he's human, and then Lex's rebuttal that gets cut off by the dog. Like, remember when he's talking with Lois there, and she's like, oh my God, were you out there helping the Justice Gang? And he's like, no, it's a dimensional if they got it.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about like...
It was like,
it's
okay.
like, what?
Yeah,
It's a throwaway scene in the back.
And like, she just keeps looking off to the side, like, maybe you should help them kind of mentality, but... No, I gotta go get the dog. He's just a dog, I know, and he's not a very good one, but he's out there and he's alone and probably scared. You know,
Right, so it's like
okay, that's kind of a Superman thing to say, but you're distracted the whole time. I can't remember anything else they talk about because I'm watching Green Lantern use a bonking. They even make the sound effect.
Yeah,
bonk. I'm like, oh no. It's like, it's just so little anything that feels truly Superman aside from aesthetics.
Yeah, I know, it's a very cotton candy movie. If you want to sit down and choose to think about it so much, just like we're doing, you're just going to end up picking it apart.
You pick it apart.
You pick it apart.
You just gotta...
You're going to be like that little raccoon who tries to wash his cotton candy and it all goes away. So if you want to enjoy it, you just can't think about it.
No, it is. It is.
Well, I think even if you turn your brain off in that movie, you're going to be like, oh my God, the movie's still going.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing too. Then there's, but again, it looked, and we've been very critical, but again, it does.
We should be, though.
I know we should be, and it invites the criticisms and comparisons because I mean it's impossible. No superhero movie can exist in a vacuum in this day and age.
Oh no!
I think the closest one was maybe like Kick-Ass was like the only one that was able to kind of like do its own thing. But
and even then the second one's a bit of a mess. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like nothing gold that can stay or whatever. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, but like I said, like, look, DC, you got your Marvel movie, like 18 years too late, but here it is, you got it. What do you want to do with it now, Yeah. It's the
It's
the
not
dog
doing
that
well.
caught the car.
It's not doing well in the box office either.
I think there's too much superhero fatigue,
I think
though. I just don't know.
We were talking about that
Yeah.
too, Dylan. It was same thing. It's like, okay, people are kind of moving on to different things. It's, well, you know, I like spy thrillers right now. I mean, it's like the spy genre coming back with a couple of different shows that have come out. Pretty good, you know.
yeah.
And even political thrillers anymore
Some of them are
so
coming-
good. They're coming back, you know. And then I guess if you look at some of the reviews and stuff going on, like The Pit coming back, the
Yeah.
medical thing,
The-
you know, in a 24 format where they're going this, then they're trying
I
different
liked
things
The
out.
Pit, but it also suffers from a little bit of hack character writing.
Yeah.
But because you're invested in what's going on, you forgive that kind of
Yeah.
When you're not invested, that's how we get like our Superman movie, where we're just like, well, hold on a second. You know, you didn't really.
It suffers one of the greatest pitfalls in modern filmmaking is that the filmmaker is expecting us to care more than they do.
Yeah.
And like I'm not doing it, you know, I'll meet your level of effort, you know what I mean? Like, but if this is what you're giving me, it is amazing to me, some of the people who are like going to the mat for this movie, like, oh, it's the best one yet, and I'm like, man, not even close. I'm sorry.
Not even close.
I don't know.
So to say that it's
No.
also superhero fatigue, though, it is superhero fatigue, but I don't think it's that we're tired of seeing heroes. We're just tired of every superhero movie coming out not being particularly heroic or
Correct.
having like some secondary motive, like that whole phase of Marvel where they just wanted to replace all their characters with like girl bosses and they didn't bother writing complex characters. So one of the reasons why we kind of like Mr. Terrific, he's not a particularly complex character, but at least like we can point to his character and be like, okay, he's stoic and he's take charge. Right? We got that from him. Right? And in a movie where everybody else is kind of jelly, you know, it's like they're not well formed or developed. I think that's the writing people are pushing back to. The expectation is that when you go to see one of these things, they're just going to be lazy. Come on, butterfly, land on me.
Yeah, I mean, we really want, look, the heroes have to be heroes. Like, how long can we keep going with this, like, oh, but the heroes, but not really, they're flawed? I mean, because, like, there's avenues for that storytelling. I mean, like, Alan Moore literally wrote the book on it with Watchmen. So, like, I feel like...
Incredibles.
Incredibles even did it, yeah. I mean,
arguably the best Watchmen movie I've seen.
I know, and people...
And best Fantastic Four movie.
I know, and it's funny. I love the way people complain about the Incredibles because they're like, it's too like Randian or something. I'm like, well, no, it's realistic. If there were people with superpowers, they would probably do stuff like that. Like, I don't know what you want. You know, that's the thing. It's like, so they want like the superheroes to all be like
a
flawed
realistic,
humans
down
and
to
stuff.
earth show swarming with magic
Yes,
robots.
exactly. Like they want,
Battlestar Galactica.
you know, and it's like there's ways you can write these gods of heroes in tragic ways or different ways. I mean, Snyder tapped into a lot of it. And not to mention, you know, like we have a whole bunch of Greek, Roman mythology that can look to, biblical mythology that you can pull from, where you do have these larger than life characters who are dealing with interesting problems on their own. You know, it's like we don't need to worry about Superman getting a date or being embarrassed about social media. We don't need Superman for that.
No.
You know, it's like we need Superman to understand, is it worth
Truth,
saving...
justice, and the American way.
Yeah, it's like, is it worth saving a whole nation? Like, actually, that was one of the things I did like in the interview when he's like, people were going to die. You know, it's like,
Because
yes,
that's simple for him.
That's Superman right there.
Yeah.
That, I mean, not so whiny, don't get me wrong. Like, I think he would say it with just like more of a cool authority, with like more of that simmering attitude.
Him raising his voice. He just
like
looks at it.
People were going to die.
Yeah,
You know?
his whole persona should have shifted when he should just have looked at her and said, people were going to die.
Yeah.
Like, that's all
And when
you
you're
needed.
Superman, you literally can save those people.
can
This
save them.
isn't you sitting...
Him
out-
putting the guy on a cactus, too. It's like, why'd you include that?
Like, why even mention it? Yeah,
It's so terrible.
exactly. But that's the thing, is like, because like these are problems Superman really has to worry about. You know, like we've seen this in other Superman media where he's floating above the earth and he can hear everyone's cries. Who does he save?
Exactly.
I mean, that's really that's interesting about Superman. Him being upset that people are tweeting about him. I mean, like that is the least thing that Superman should worry about, man. It's insane.
I will say, if you're trying to emotionally break Superman, to expand on that, killing the falafel vendor, right?
Yep.
Something like that could really bother Superman if you had made it much more personable, much more connected, right?
Yep.
And there's an excellent Superman story called Superman for All Seasons. And Superman is like told from various point of views. Like, it's told from, like, I think it's like Pa Kent maybe in the first, it's the Kents in the first chapter, and it's about his teenage years going up. The next season is Lois Lane. It's his first year in Metropolis, and it's like, wow, this has changed everything. The world will never be the same. The third one is from Lex's point of view. He's like, I know how to break this guy. He's so inspirational, so aspirational. He brainwashes this woman into thinking she can be a hero, and when she dies, he says, look what you have inspired. And it breaks him. And so he goes back to Smallville, and that's when he talks with like Lana, and she's like, dude, these things are going to happen kind of mentality, but you can do so much better. You know, you got to get back out in the world. We're better for having you in it. Like kind of stories like that. So if you want to break him, you can make him see like this is your heroism has inspired others, and they can't do what you can do.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been one of Superman's biggest concerns, is that his actions are going to blow back on his loved ones or innocents.
Yeah.
I mean that's almost every
Every
superhero's
hero's
concern.
thing,
You know,
yeah.
that's why they wear masks. Don't get me wrong.
Not Batman.
Yeah.
He wears the mask because his mask is Bruce Wayne.
And there's another trope I'm getting tired of too, you know, but that's a conversation for another day. Oh, yeah, so...
Yeah, I think those are really the big talking points I had for this movie.
Yep.
I really like it.
Yeah.
And actually, the more we've talked about it today, the less I like it.
What kills me, though, is, like, the potential was there.
There's always potential. That's why I always
That's
go to
what-
these
no.
things. Like Fantastic Four's coming out. I know it's going to be terrible. I know it. But I still kind of want to
Wanna
see,
see
it.
it. Yeah.
I kind of want to see it for, like, the cool 60s aesthetics.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I mean, say what you will about how terrible superhero movies are. Like, they've been looking as good as ever. I recently had to watch Hulk 2003 for my hit show, Reels of Justice. Check it out now, wherever
Ang Lee
podcasts
one?
are. Yep. And actually, Ben has a great line. He's like, oh, don't let this guy direct. He's angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. I'm like,
That's pretty good.
I'm like, Ben, that's a good line. So
Shockingly
shout
clever.
out to Ben. You know, but even that movie actually kind of looked pretty good, and it was like I feel like, I don't know. I just maybe there's just not anything left in the comic book tank at this point. you
I
know?
think there are. You just got to get the right people involved. A guy like
Maybe.
James Gunn, when he announced
Well,
he
you
was
got
doing
like
it,
the
we
DC
all
animated
knew.
universe is.
Yeah, they have so many
still
good
doing some
cartoons to
stuff.
pull from. Just rip that off.
Oh, you
Yeah.
could.
Dude, how was
Yeah.
your plan just not season 1 of Justice League Unlimited?
Oh God, I know, right? Like, just do that, man.
Just do that. Just
Oh,
do
that
Justice
would
League.
that be cool?
Because
That
then,
would
you,
be
again,
excellent.
and if they had been smart and done like Lois trying to crack the Superman cloning thing, there's your Cadmus.
Yep.
Right?
And if you want the human element, that's literally the first episode of Justice League Unlimited, is about how Green Arrow is uncomfortable being amongst basically gods as a dude with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, I'm worried like the little guy gets lost in the shuffle or something like this. And like, well, that's why you're here. That Superman's not worried about the little guy because Superman has the concerns of God, for crying out loud. He has the world in his hand in a way that Batman never will, that Green Arrow never will.
Correct.
You know, so like you just can't minimize that. And when you do, it's just like, A, it doesn't need to be a Superman story, and B, it's just not interesting because then it's like, well, Superman can just wipe these people out
anyways.
Yeah, you know, it's just I just don't like. I don't think we need movies like minimizing what Superman's capable of anymore. You know, I think that's been done. I
Yep.
think you have other heroes that you could tell
yeah,
these
you can do
stories
street level
with.
stuff.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
tried to do that with Marvel when they did like the Netflix stuff. There was your street levels.
All right.
Well, our very own annoying Crypto seems to be mad at us for being outside for so long without him. So,
Very good.
Final thoughts for me. I don't like the movie. As we were discussing it, I like it much, much less.
Yeah.
So hard pass for me across the board. Lots of flaws. They need to get off their ego trip and start consulting other people who have done successful things and try to figure out why it works. But it's all ego driven.
Yeah, drive a garbage truck of money up to Bruce Timm and Eric Romanowski's house.
Well, let's be careful because Bruce Timm also did the Batman Cape Crusader on Prime, and that wasn't very good either.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he's lost a step. Yeah. My final thoughts is like, look, this is probably like a 2-star movie. If you like the direction superhero movies have been going for like the past like 8-10 years, like if you, and it's fine if you do.
Yeah.
They're not for me. Then you'll like the movie. You know, that's fine. You know, like everyone, if like you like what the Marvel's been doing, you'll like this Superman movie.
What's ironic to me about this movie, to wrap it up, was I liked the ending. The ending left me with a good feeling when he's sitting there in the chair, and I'm going to watch it about my family and that. And I said, oh, there you go. Now that's kind of like
That's a little more
that's like a
Superman-y. I
Superman
kinda
kind
like
of
that
thing.
too.
Yeah.
At the end.
And that's a very simple thing too, because they start with like, oh, it's his Kryptonian parents. He wants to
Yep.
be connected to them, and then it's like, no, he's
No,
connected to
it's
them.
the Earth.
But
So I get it.
I would have liked a little more from the kid. Like,
Yeah.
Whatever happened to using your opening titles to do like the quick history or vignettes or something like
could.
that? Like where's that if you just want to kind of rush the origin?
I mean, I think James Gunn probably on like the top of every meeting had like no spaceship, no baby in cape. Like he's like, we do not want to do
that.
the origin story. And I respect that. I really respect that. I'm guessing like that text stuff, like they probably forced him to do. It's like you have to give them something.
Oh no, I guarantee you that
maybe
that whole no origin story he took too far, and we didn't give an origin stories about bull gravy or borsch gravy. We didn't get origin stories.
Well, I mean, that's true
we
too.
didn't get any origin
you
for
got to
anything.
build up a few things. Like, yes, we don't need to see Superman land as a baby and grow. Everyone gets that, but like you got to explain some of this other stuff, especially if you're doing such radical turns of how we would know.
The whole movie should have just been about him successfully creating Ultraman.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't even need him in the beginning of the movie.
Nope.
He beats him like a little past the halfway mark.
Yep.
You know, it's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just can't ignore. It's something about Superman that you really can't ignore is that he's fully human, but also fully a god.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
No.
Where's
Moses.
the image? Where's the imagery?
He's Moses.
You know, but anyway,
He's Moses.
Set my people free.
Anyway, anyway. So
He shows up in a basket, Dylan. He's Moses.
I think we should talk. Moses is a prophet, though. My point
he still
is, we
channels
should.
the power of God.
We should. No, he does not channel the powers of God.
He's the
That's
one who
why he
makes-
got in trouble for hitting the rock twice. Anyway, my point. Welcome to the theology hour now. I think. Okay, so let's pivot. I think we did good final thoughts. I think the people want to know what we're smoking, Derek.
Oh man, I forgot all about it. So Dylan brought over San Cristobal's Ovations.
I
They're
got
awesome.
I got this here. I got the. It doesn't matter. You can Google it, and
They're very good.
they're fantastic.
They are really
They're-
good.
This
full
has
body
been
smoke.
so good. I mean, like I'm just kind of sipping here on a like a Miller Lite, which I'm more of a high life person, but the two go shockingly well together.
Oh yeah, it works.
Because like this has enough body, and this just enough to wet the whistle.
No, the Ovation is just a perfect full body cigar. If you got to try to get a deal on them. They're a little pricey, but if you get the deal,
Doesn't blast the palate. You're also having the Ovation.
I'm
Now,
having
what
the
do you
Ovation.
think?
I love it. The Ovation, it's a good smoke.
and
After having a
I
good dinner.
Yeah,
am
no kidding.
smoking the limited edition SmokingPipes.com in partnership with their sister company Cornell and Deal 25 Reserve Dusk Edition, which is a Virginia Perique with hints of Old Dark Fired. Now, I gotta say, I'm not a big Virginia Perique smoker. I prefer Balkan blends, as viewers of the show know. And I was looking forward to the dark fired elements in here, and I have to say they're very muted. So it's a very
Really?
good, clean Virginia Perique. I'm not getting a lot of the Old Dark Fire, which I found to be a little disappointing.
That's all
But
right.
it's not a bad blend, and of course, I'm smoking it in one of my Yakinos, the brilliant Italian carver in his neoclassical style. So that's what I've got. We are officially a YouTube pipe community channel now because I have a pipe on it, so you can put the hashtag in it. They'll love it.
I'm not putting the hashtag in it.
What am I gonna do?
I don't know. You're gonna have
I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't really. I try not to use too many hashtags.
to look at the bottom of the screen. Why?
It's right there. Well,
So-
make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, Chris Sabicki. Till
All
next
righty.
time.